Well, I hope technology is not going to let us down on the most important day.
I'm laughing because I work in technology, right?
I know.
So for me, it's quite priceless, to be honest with you.
Oh well.
Okay, we're streaming. Welcome everyone to Open Mic. Yay! My apologies to everyone there. You know, I was just telling Kim I work in technology, so I'm so used to this, right? I'm so used to this, and if something's not working, we move on to the next thing, and then we just continue, right? So thank you everyone for joining. It's Open Mic Foundation, Minutes on Mic. We have Kimmy Tempest online with us today, known as Kim. Kim, thank you so much. You look absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for taking the time. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time and coming through and all the prep work that you've been through. Kimmy has come through to me. I think, Kim, we know each other for what, 2.5 weeks? We connected to the same mutual friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Kim has taught me so much in this short period of time, and it has been a phenomenal 2.5 weeks with you, Kim. I've learned so much about myself and about you, and some amazing things that we're going to be creating, I think, going forward. To all the viewers, welcome to Open Mic. There has been a lot of people that have joined in the last day. A lot of Kim's followers online. I would like to welcome them. To Kim's family, thank you for joining. I've had some incredible comments that's coming through from them as well. So thank you very much. Kim, I'm going to give over to you. I'm going to monitor the people and the comments that's coming through on Facebook. As you guys know, that Kim does have a raffle and a giveaway for the audience. Like I said, there's been a lot of people that have connected. So we are going to see some of the things that's coming, you know, from that perspective. And we have Melanie online, we have Jessica online, we have Audrey online. So yeah, welcome ladies, and thank you so much. So let's take it away. So Kim's topic is the power of thought, an extremely exciting topic. You know, we very often look at our thoughts, and our thoughts obviously gives our bodies emotions and feelings and all sorts of things. So Kim, I'm going to give it over to you while I just monitor all of these people online for you. So over to you, Kim.
Thanks, Shashni. Do forgive me if I appear to be looking not at the camera, because I'm also looking at my screen, my computer screen at the same time for my 1,000 words that I've put for today. Just a little bit of background, and thank you for all my contacts who I invited who have joined today. And don't worry if you can't stay, if you can't do the whole thing, it's not the end of the world. You can always link up to the recordings later. But just a little bit about me, if you don't already know a little bit about me. I have a long background in spiritual grounding, and I guess I have a higher aptitude for spiritual teaching and spiritual work compared with anything else. These gifts I was given as a child, growing up in a very church-going and God-fearing family, where I had a priest as a grandfather, a pastor as a father, and over time I've just woven all these lessons and foundations into the work that I do today. I combine this all with a career in complementary health and natural medicine, nutrition, vibrational medicine. I'm also a retired reflexologist and massage therapist. I am what I would like to think of being as an ever-evolving numerologist, and also an inspiration coach. I believe that most of my joy comes from inspiring and sharing with others and giving them structure to things that they're struggling with. My next goal is to be a cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner. And this is also part of the reason for my landing up in the theme today, which is thought. And this thing called thought, I have realized, underpins everything. And today I wish to kind of unravel many wonderful pearls of wisdom about thought. But what I really would like you to take home with you today is perhaps the concept of why we need to be aware of our thought patterns. And if you just grasp the concept today, or the find your why, then that is all that you hear for today. The central theme, and I'm going to move as calmly and slowly as possible with a lot of words through this journey, because we actually have 20 concepts to go, or 20 thought anchors to go through. So they all stem from one fundamental principle, which is that we receive in life what we think about. Where our thoughts go is where our life goes. So the most guiding principle, in the most easy put together words, that explains why this is the way it is because a guiding principle that says you are what your deepest driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. And as your deed is, so is your destiny. And what this is really saying is, I'll talk in pictures because it makes more sense in pictures. There's two pictures that came to mind even yesterday. Think of yourself driving in a car in the most wonderfully scenic environment. And as you meander up and down through curving roads, round the bends, and in a beautiful environment with mountain on the left and a cliff face on the right, you're on this road and everything there is beautiful. You can see the ocean on the right and the mountain on the left, and it's just gorgeous. And you're being careful because your eyes need to be maintaining it's fixed on the road, and you need to be cautious of what's happening around you, but you're also quite attracted to the scenery. And this is like the mind. So as you're going along and all things are going well, you suddenly, without warning, an eagle flies overhead and you catch the eagle, like the most amazing sighting. And you are so taken up with that moment of this new image, you call out to your passenger, look, an eagle. And thank goodness for the passenger, who in a moment grabs the wheel and steers you back onto the tar road. Your attention had almost taken you on a completely different destiny, off the side of the mountain cliff. So it shows where your attention goes, your body automatically goes, your life automatically goes. And now, more specifically with regards to thought, I probably have maybe one or two teachers listening today, and you will identify with the one child who's looking straight at you in class as if being present in class, and he's physically present in class, but in fact you can actually see that the child is in another place completely. As you were describing the rules of perhaps I before E except after C, the boy in the second row is staring up at your presentation whilst being right there. His eyes are far, far away in the distance. He's already into his recess where he's playing a rather action-packed game of either catch or football. And you snap your fingers in front of him like this, and he jolts back into the present moment, and he's hearing I, E, C, etc. And the funny thing was, his thoughts had transported him to the activity of his deepest desire. His imaginings were absolutely so powerful that in that moment, his wish was his command. He actually had the genie in the bottle moment where his wish was his command, and he was right there in the class, but he heard nothing, he saw nothing, his ears were not there, his eyes were not there, because his mind was not there. And his thoughts had taken him into the next destiny of his desire, which was his playground. And so today I will guide you through the full experience of how awareness of thought can bring about powerful personal transformation in your life. it is perhaps something that I've had to deal with imminently now in the changes we find ourselves in lockdown. Also, mainly the awareness of my thought patterns was more perhaps real than the actual identification of the thought itself. And that can be quite difficult to grasp, but just stay with me on just listening and absorbing, because we know and we hear a lot about the power of the mind, the power of prayer, the power of thinking, etc.
Yeah.
Often, everywhere, it's all around us. Everything seems to begin with thought, but we've got to now work with why we must understand our thought has so much power, and what our individual why is. So if I have a reason why I recognize I need to change the way I'm thinking, the reason is motivated by the fact that I don't like the results I'm getting in my life. I went over the cliff and I just had a massive accident, broke my back. So I didn't like the result of that. My mind went off a different direction. I want to change that. So let's understand why first. If a doctor is writing you a script and he says, yeah, you must take this, and you're not aware of any ailments in your body, you're going to be like, why must I take this pill? Why must I change? So my first challenge is, or stimulus is to find your why. Why is there a need, and why should I change my thought patterns? So why are we reframing the thought patterns is because of the law of cause and effect. We know that something happens and that causes a reaction. We also understand that we have potential. Our potential, our divine create ability exists. And therefore, what we do with that determines where we will end up. The final, and I think most important thing, back to the fact that we would choose to attend to our thoughts when we realize that we are not creating that which we most deeply desire in our lives. And so therefore, we must not be thinking right. So that is really how simple it is. So what I'd like to relate thought to as well is the governing principle that everything we think eventually results in our achievement of our desires. We are actually vastly connected through this powerful mind. We are vastly connected through the many thoughts that we exchange during the day in the way that we exchange through words and socialization. You have a mind, and therefore how you use it is up to you, because thought actually drives the mind. Thought is the physical driver. The car is the mind. The thought is the driver. So you want to not be in the passenger seat of a reckless driver. You really don't.
So Kim.
Yeah.
So Kim, so where I hear you going with this is that, you know, your actions is very much in tune with what you are thinking at the time, what your thought process is at the time.
It's not necessarily immediate, and that is the subtle and very delicate habit of thought. And so what I'm about to introduce is how to change the subtle nature of thought by giving a real structure to constructive thinking on a day-to-day basis, because thought is that determined and habitual that without even recognizing our thought pattern, we have got stuck in it. We have become cemented in a thought pattern that perhaps came from an unconscious belief system. It doesn't matter where it came from, but the thought pattern is a little bit like a bad habit. And in order to reverse that bad habit or undo it, so it's actually more like an undoing or an unraveling, you almost need to gently trick the mind or trick yourself out of the habit by first establishing a new habit. And then it's slowly the old habit fades away. Okay. So that's
habits.
Yeah.
So habits usually take about, I mean, from what I've read, anything between 30 days. So if you do something in habit for 30 days consecutively, they say that you would break a habit or actually construct a new habit, right?
Exactly.
I just want to say, so some of the comments that's coming through, Karin de Cock says hello to Kimmy, And Rav Forbay, she's a teacher, and she
Oh,
says, I'm a teacher and I completely relate with you
yeah.
with the kids.
I think so. I think a lot of, if my sister's managed to get on, she also is a teacher and she has so much experience with children like getting lost out there. And you can
Yeah.
see they just already projected themselves into some other space, which is common for children. They're so beautifully innocent and they have such vast imaginations. And basically anything that forms a habit becomes a pattern. We know how we are habitual human beings. And those things come from thought. They come from a series of thoughts and a series of belief systems that created words, actions, deeds, and then results in our lives or non-results. So what I'm going to give to the listeners today is basically 20 centering thoughts. So you could use these over 20 days if you like, but actually I've started using them in a sort of flashcard way. I've put all these centering thoughts onto little flashcards and I draw them out of a sort of card box every day randomly. And it sits next to my computer and it tells me, reminding me, just because the words are on a page, reminding me this and this and this and this. And that becomes a centering thought. Now, I've got to explain centering thought and the concept behind it. So the concept is to take you from the point where you've made a decision, you realize that there could be ways that you could change your thought patterns that would increase your potential to create a new direction. So we've got lockdown. We've all been faced with the challenge that we are faced with, working from home, working online. So a good way of saying this, when we can no longer change a situation, we are forced to change ourselves. And that happens to us regularly in life. We get into situations beyond our control. Now what we have to do is become challenged to change ourselves. And it starts with thinking. The way we think about ourselves is ultimately how we can take ourselves forward. So a centering thought, you've got to think about it as if it were a doctor, qualified doctor, or a really good licensed driver. A centering thought is also comparable with a ship's anchor. So a centering thought in itself is there designed to put on the brakes in a crisis or to guide a specific direction or a position on a map of the mind. It's there to drop the anchor when you are in a storm. And then also that allows you to stay still long enough to reset the process of thinking or the pattern that you trapped in. And the centering thought always helps us to turn and balance a wayward mind. Because this is ultimately where the thought patterns exist, is in a mind that's a little bit perhaps cluttered and overpopulated with too much. So we can be still the mind through a centering thought. And I'm going to move through 20 centering thoughts, but quite swiftly because they're, funny enough, all interconnected. And the first and most important thing that I can ever offer for thought process change or thought process re-engineering is breath. So centering thought number one is, and I'm going to read these to you in the form of an affirmation so you can hear their power.
Okay.
Today, I call forth the vital force of my breath. For as I breathe in and as I breathe out, I clear my mind of thought. And basically, if you don't want to say that whole thing, you just say, today I call on the breath because when I breathe in and when I breathe out, I clear my mind. It can be simple. You don't to say the whole big long thing, and anyone who wants to can email me for a PDF of this. It's no problem. You don't have to scramble and write things down. You can just listen. Today I call forth the vital force of my breath because as I breathe in and breathe out, I clear my mind of thought. Breath has the power of light. Breath has the power of spirit. Breath is ultimately our life force. Without breath, we die. Without air, we start to die. Without oxygen, our organs fail. It's just really science. So the other thing that's good is a glass of water. Drink a lot of water. It's an oxygen carrier. It helps to calm things down, dilute everything. It really is a cure. And your first centering thought is always breath. So even if you don't have your magic cards with you and you're in a pickle, go to the breath. You don't need those cards hanging on to you. You just need breath. So centering thought number 2 is important because how we see ourselves in relation to our world is very important, and we have to adjust into that. So the way I see these little affirmations as well is the centering thought is like a brake, and then the description of it is a brake pad. So everything has a meaning, and it creates a little bit of a buffer in the world for us.
Okay.
So my centering thought number 2 is about understanding the core of your being. It's today I create my personal abundance from an infinite source. So here I am in the world. I feel lost in my own mind, but I'm actually a big part of this collective, and I'm feeling quite separated at the moment. I don't know how I'm thinking about the world. How do I think about the world? And the description of this is really ultimately, please believe that there's almost everybody out there who's in the same or similar quandary as you in their minds. Minds are overcluttered and they're trying to deal with a lot. So take it back to the core of the being. Today I create my personal abundance from an infinite source. So go to your God-like connection and say, I am still here collectively on the planet with everyone else, and I'm cared for. I am actually in reality, and I'm okay. So centering thought 3 then becomes a bit of an explanation. So I'm going to explain it before I use the word today. And you'll notice that each centering thought starts with the word today, because you've got to stay in the present moment and use it during the day. So I'm going to explain number 3 in that your birthright and the understanding of your birthright, your existence on this planet, in this world, it is a spiritual birthright that we have love, abundance, happiness, joy, that we experience a good life. That's our birthright. We get crisscrossed with challenges, and it depends on how we see those challenges as to how we process them. So today I claim my birthright. The great bounty of spirit is mine, and its passage is the mind. So I mind what I think. It's very important to mind what you think and understand that your birthright is full of bounty. It's good things. So changing the way what we feel we are worth is important in number 3. Centering thought number 4 is, in numerology, number 4 is a foundational number. It's doing the work, and it's also like creating a good solid base. And this particular one is about moving forward. It says, from this moment forward, I invite unlimited possibility into my life through the awareness of my thoughts. So slowly we're stringing a pearl, a necklace together of pearls. We actually like stringing something together here that is helping us to think differently. Centering thought number 5 says, today I embrace my potential to be, do, and have whatever I think of and dream of or desire. So it's giving you the ability to be free to choose and then to go towards that. Centering thought number 6 says, everything I desire is actually within me. It is within me. Today, what I think about is what I receive. Centering thought number 7, today I use my conscious intention. So setting what you want is here very important. I use my conscious intention to manifest my dreams and desires. My intention is my direction. So you're using words all the time to create a thought pattern that creates many more possibilities. We are now actually quite nicely on the bicycle and learning to balance and moving forward. So centering thought 8 becomes, today I am absolutely existence. I am absolutely existing. I am, wow, I'm alive. I am a field of possibilities, and through the power of thought, I create anything, anywhere, anytime. And so now you're actually quite confident on your bicycle, your new bicycle. You're turning the wheels. You're turning the wheels. Centering thought number 9 comes in, and it says, oh, but I must remember, look around me, there's other people. Today, I nourish the universe of the mind, and it nourishes me. Today, I must remember to give that which I wish to receive. So it's not always about me and taking to it's about I consider others in this process, and I want to give that which I'm busy receiving. And then centering thought number 10 is today I make great conscious choices. I don't just make choices, I make great conscious choices because they are made in full awareness of my thoughts. My actions are aligned with the cosmos. And the cosmos can be anything with you. It can be we don't want to go into too much detail, your idea of God, your idea of the universe. My actions are aligned with the cosmos. My actions are aligned with destiny. Centering thought number 11 becomes more an inspiration for life. Today, I shift my thoughts. So you've already now gone through the grounding work, learning to ride the bicycle, feeling confident in the bicycle, and now even being aware of others and sharing that with them. And now you're actually shifted. To some degree, day 11 or centering thought day 11 is I've shifted my thoughts from an attitude of lack to an attitude of abundant flow, creating my full destiny. I expect and I accept abundance to flow easily to me. Again, we're now coming to, like the clock has number 12, centering thought number 12. Today I place my thoughts and intentions into the vast ocean of all possibilities and allow cosmic intelligence to work through me. This is just a completion or a cycle of so many different effects. You realize at this point that actually everything is in unison when my thoughts are in unison. When I'm starting to see that I'm connected, I'm not disconnected from everything and everyone. I'm actually in this collective journey of forming a new pattern in my mind. I'm not all fragmented and lost. I'm actually putting my intentions into the vast ocean out there of possibles. I'm trusting and I'm hopeful that it's going to come through me, through my good thoughts. So the brake pad says my actions and desires come through my thoughts. Again, it keeps on reinforcing my actions and desires come from the initiation of good thoughts or positive thoughts. Now, I love centering thought number 13. In numerology, we call number 13 the number of death and rebirth, not just death. It's beautiful.
Death and rebirth.
And rebirth. So it's an incredible, powerful number. People often say it's the unlucky number. I disagree. It's totally lucky because you get to be reborn.
Yeah, so that's what, I'm just thinking death and reborn into the same number. That's quite interesting. Kim, before you go on, I just want to share something with you. Rosemary Jane says, thank you, Kim. I really needed to hear this. And then Jessica says, how can I use this teaching to quit smoking? Jess.
Okay.
I quiz. She says,
discussion, hey?
So we're going to go back to that question because she says there, I don't know what changed in my mind, why it is hard now when the last time it just came so naturally. I feel quite helpless and rather less in control. So I'm not too sure if you want to address the question now for Jess, or do you want to continue because you're on number 13 yet?
Yeah, so we are 7 steps away from the actual completion of the gentle process of shifting the habit of thoughts. And it's very interesting that question came up now because often smoking has an association with a wound or something painful that we were trying to deal with. And because we couldn't deal with it, we start taking up another habit. So the habit is smoking. Now you've got to go back and have a look at the wound. And number 13 addresses this directly, but maybe you'll have to write it down and think about it because it says, today, I joyfully and purposefully pull out the weeds of negative programming from my mind. Okay. You have to joyfully and purposefully do it. You can't do it negatively. You have to see that cigarette as something that was given to you at a time when you couldn't face the real pain. Okay, and I'll get to something about pain later. And so the cigarette replaced the pain and helped you cope. So now you're kind of thinking, well, why am I really doing this? So go to Centering Thought 13. It says, I joyfully and purposefully say, okay, cigarette, you are the weed I need to pull out. So you pull out the weed of negative programming from the mind. And then all you say is, my actions are blissfully free from attachments to outcomes. What that means to Jess specifically right now is you don't have to be attached to the outcome of whether you succeed or don't succeed in quitting. What you need to just do is take the first step. Say, I will pull out the weed of that negative. And then I will just say to myself every day, my action is good. I am blissful about the feeling of removing the weed from my garden. And I'm not going to be attached to the outcome. I'm going to just wake up every day and I'm just going to deal with today. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to pull out the weeds of negative programming and I'm going to celebrate that my actions are blissfully free from attachments to outcomes. And if you look at Centering Thought number 14, it helps you with this. It says, today, there is a way that I can fulfill my true purpose in life. So if it's something as small as smoking and wanting to give up smoking, or if it's something as big as writing your thesis for your PhD, there is a way I can truly fulfill my purpose in life. I carry the sense, the feeling of divine purpose within me. And then the brake pad says, my thoughts are aligned with my true purpose. So go back to thoughts and go back to today all the time. That's what gets you there. So Centering Thought number 15 keeps going. It's like a bicycle. You can't stop this. It's just continually reinforcing so that your thoughts don't go backwards. They keep going into the new. Today, as I live in this present moment of awareness, I live the magic of my destiny. And in your magic of your destiny, you can see yourself as a non-smoker. You hold the image of the magic of that in your destiny. That becomes your thought, because now you're fully feeling it. And the brake pad says, I carry the feeling of my destiny within the core of my being. So you can't even do this just from the mind. You have to start pulling it into the heart and really feeling the shift. Okay, and then 16, Centering Thought 16 says, now I must remember today, thoughtfully, to be grateful to myself and to others. As I nourish my thoughts with gratitude, the universe nourishes me. As I carry this deep sense of gratitude with me, the universe nourishes me. Quickly into Centering Thought 17, today I move through my days light-hearted, thoughtful, carefree, knowing all is well. I carry this feeling, this sense of knowing with me. Now you're bringing it from the thought, from the mind into the heart and really feeling it. Because when you feel something, you really identify and believe with it or believe it. So 2 away from 20, Centering Thought 18. Today, I'm starting to celebrate my unity with all life, because you realize suddenly my whole life is actually feeling very connected to all life. My connection to all people, all beings, with nature, with everything, knowing we are all one. I see the other in me and the others. How does it go? Sorry. I see the other in myself and myself in others. And that's the brake pad. It puts it down to that. Centering Thought 19 is the most important thing that all humans on earth grow and thrive out of. Today, I remember to love everything and everyone I come into contact with. As I give love, I receive love, because that goes without saying that each being on this earth wants love. Finally, Centering Thought number 20 brings it all together in the present moment again. It says, today I anchor myself in the present moment awareness and align my thoughts with my deepest desires. So again, head and heart have to be connecting. My actions and desires are supported by cosmic intelligence. I hope this helps you find your why. Why would you desire to become more aware of your thought patterns? To give up smoking, to do this, to have that change? It doesn't matter. You can apply this to everything. Just remember the guiding principle that explains why you are what your deep driving desire is. So first find your driving desire. That's quite difficult sometimes, but you can make it with small things first. Start with small things first. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed, and your deed, your destiny. You can't steer away from that. That's a guiding principle. Sheshni, if I've got a few more minutes, I want to just close with a mind that also talks about the paradox of the mind, and you're going to have a good laugh at this. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I think
so, Kim, you have another 15 minutes. I sent Ari a message. I sent Ari a message before we had the technical issues, and I asked her if we could, she's in the US, right? So I asked her if we could just start, 15 minutes later. So I'm only going to connect Ari about 3:15. So you've got another 15 minutes from now. So don't worry. Yeah.
So I'll read the paradox of the mind, and then we'll open for some free questions and the lucky draw as well. So this is called, it actually was quite a little small miracle how I came across this in one of my Greek mythology texts that I've been messing around with every now and then, and beautiful, just described exactly what I was needing. It's called mind and myself, this and this, which is sometimes very opposite. Let's begin. How can I find myself through my mind? Surely I know I have created my mind to hide myself. A man's mind can deceive or inspire him, and through his words or the actions of his hands, he can deceive or inspire others. Man is a reasoning being who is most unreasonable, but sometimes reasonable. We are so enlightened, we have made our world full of darkness. There is as much good as evil as there is evil in good. To protect us, our weapons have made us afraid. How much evil we do every day, thinking we are doing good. Through our mind, we create our fears, and then we become afraid of those same fears that we created. We suffer according to how we think. I think how I suffer. Oh, I suffer how I think. Joys and pleasures are short because we let them go quickly to enjoy more. The pains and sorrows are long because we let them go slowly, being afraid not to have them anymore. Today in modern medicine, we try to save the dying, and in doing so, we destroy the living. Joyful is the painful relief of pain, which comes out of suffering. If you think harshly, stormy waves of anger will appear. And if you think calmly, the stormy waves of anger disappear. There is no harm in being calm, for as a man thinketh, so is he. So that's the paradox of the mind, which I love, because a paradox is actually a seemingly contradictory statement, which when you investigate it may be proven to be well-founded from both angles. It doesn't talk about truth. It says, if you look at both sides, sometimes they appear correct. So be careful which thoughts you actually pick, because they must match your destiny. So go to that which you deeply desire and then move backwards into what will the thoughts be that create that destiny. And there you have the power of thought. Thanks, Sheshni.
So we have Janine. Hey, Janine. She says she loves James Allen. She says so true about thoughts. Absolutely. We also have Donna from London's on. We have Adele that's on. Laurel says it's so beautiful. Just some comments from, I think it's Layla Erasmus. She says, this is definitely what I needed to hear. She says, it's so hard not to get caught up in the negative things in this world. This is just reassuring me that it is my choice to get caught up in it all. just changing my thought patterns can change my entire outlook on life. Thank you for this, Kim. Truly appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure, Layla.
So, I mean, Janine is saying, yeah, power of thought is vital, and it's so true. I mean, we don't realize, what our thoughts going through our minds, the way, I think some people underestimate our thoughts in the sense that our
Yeah.
bodies also is linked to the feeling and the emotions that we go through our mind. And
Yes,
if you,
correct.
and I'm just giving you an example, right? So if you constantly telling yourself, I'm sad, or I can't do something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take it back to business. So let me take it back to business, right? So
fantastic.
if you're gonna say I can't fulfill my deadlines, or I cannot fulfill what I need to accomplish or achieve, it makes you think that you can't, because your thought pattern is already telling you can't
Yeah.
do it, or you don't
You
have
keep
enough time.
on you see, thought is basically very fast moving energy. So you keep on reinforcing the energy to move in a reverse when you say can't, can't, can't.
Yes, yes,
Because we've been told our whole lives there's no such word as can't in the English dictionary. And it's funny how we use it all the time. It is
yes,
absurd how we use it all the time. But
yeah,
what that is the vicious cycle of a negative, which is why you have to
yes,
go to sentence thought number 13 and pull out that weed. Because, like we heard last week on the power of words, you have to remove the words,
yeah,
because mind has to
absolutely.
be good. Mind is a
Yeah,
computer. It's a machine of magic. You can reprogram mind using these affirmations. But it's very important, or should I say, and it's very important to make sure that the words you use reinforce the direction you need to go. So you've got a deadline, and what you have to teach your mind to do is break it into steps to get to the deadline, not think of the deadline itself. So the
yeah,
giving up smoking question is, why don't
yeah,
we just take it one day at a time? Why do I
yeah,
need giving up smoking for life? Because
yeah,
your body, today, your body is like this. In 28 days, you've renewed all of your skin cells. So in
yes,
28
yes,
days, you have a whole new skin system. Does your body know that you've given up smoking for 28 days? No, it doesn't. It just knows that it didn't have a cigarette. So if you look at like that, it gives you the context that says, oh, but I just need to do it for today. And then tomorrow I can wake up and deal with tomorrow. And that goes about everything. It's like
Jess,
something we've heard for life, but we don't really, do we really go
yeah,
back to it
yeah,
over and over?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Jess, I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm sure, your aunt has just, helped you in terms of what you have thought and your body is feeling right now in terms of now, versus then. A very common thing that happens in working environments is you have difficult people,
Yeah.
and people are constraints of people because they don't know how to deal with them, they don't know how to talk to them. And going back to Janine Janine says she dislikes can't, and that's one of the words she actually didn't touch on last week. She says this is one of the
Yeah.
words I did not discuss. And
Yeah.
Janine's topic last week on words and how you have now taken, from what she's gone into this flow of talk as well. I've learned so much from Janine as well, in the sense of, what she was talking about, the words that we use, and the words that you use, the thoughts that you put with the words that you use expresses, yourself, and comes out. It is absolutely profound, and when I was talking with Janine last week, and you are triggering me in a sense as well, because we don't realize the thought processes, the words that we use, and what we're actually doing with that, and what's coming
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah. I just remind myself a lot that also with words, I just adore words. I just love words because I can feel something change within me when I'm using good words. I'm using powerful
Yes,
words. Centering thought 5 was, today I embrace my potential, not what the world expects of me or what other people are pressurizing me to do. Today
yes,
I embrace my potential to be, do, and have whatever I
Yes.
can think of and dream of. So you can keep looking at these little pearls and keep stringing them together to help you create new word systems. And those word systems in your head is your thoughts. So you actually are replacing an old thought with a new thought using words. And it's just having something to start with that is always helpful. And it's important to find those things out there, whether we do it through therapists or coaches or inspirational books, inspirational whatever material. It's important to go and look for things that are around the subject of thought and changing the habits that we're in with regards to thought.
No, absolutely. It's absolutely. I so agree with you. Rav Bay is saying death and rebirth. In order to move forward and to live in the present, you need to let go of the negativity and move towards positive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also what's very important for me to highlight again is negative and positive are two very big dimensions. To work with your own personal deep desire in the positive is specific. When you're working with thought, you must be specific about that which you desire. So I keep on using an easy thing like, I wish to give up smoking. Okay.
Yeah.
So your desire is actually to be cigarette free, dependency disconnected. You got to find ways in describing it to your mind that doesn't sound like you want to be a non-smoker. So it's almost like you create the positive image first of the freedom of not having to be called by somebody else to go and see to a habit. So creating an image in your mind is creating a thought pattern. Rather go to the positive specifically. See yourself, visualize yourself, how you would really look without being a smoker, and hold on to that image. Because like I did in the beginning with you, I drew an image of the car going off the cliff because I wanted to show you how powerful when your attention goes in another direction, like thoughts can go, mind can go without discipline, without purpose. You can end off quite badly. So use the image to guide your destiny into the positive form. So if you want a positive outcome, create that positive image. You've got to do it for yourself. I can't do it for you because you've got to feel it as well as visualize it.
I mean, if I take myself as well, it's what I feel, what I think. That burning desire in me is what I create, right? And that's in anything that I do, absolutely anything that I do. So just two more comments that's coming through, Kim, from Audrey Howard. She says, it is a process to change your words and how powerful they can be. It has certainly changed my life by choosing my thoughts and words wisely. They can change your whole day and also make your day the best day. Absolutely. So true, Audrey.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can change everything. It can
absolutely. And then we have
take an exceptionally difficult moment and just using the right words can shift that moment for somebody.
Yeah. So the last comment, and then we're going to do the raffle. The last one is from Jill. She says, our head, heart, and hands all need to be in alignment. Otherwise, we might just slip in the thing we are trying to change.
Yes. Nice. Thanks, Jill.
Okay, so Kim, what I did was I kind of put everyone's names in here.
Yay, lucky draw.
So while Jill says it's called integrity, absolutely integrity. I so agree with you, Jill.
Lovely word.
Yeah, absolutely. Laurel says, any advice when you're trying to have difficult, positive conversations with difficult people?
Okay, you have to remove the word difficult.
I was going to say that.
So you have to remove the word trying. You're either having a conversation or you're not. You should never try to do anything. Never try something. You make a decision to either listen or to constructively contribute. And sometimes the difficult person just needs to carry on being purely difficult. That's one for a long answer. But I would start with removing the word difficult and deciding, is it your job to have the conversation, or can you just be the listener? Try that.
Yeah, I agree. So people have different forms and different ways of how they see the world through their lens. I do believe that how you react is what you can control to the people that you are finding to be challenging towards.
Yeah.
So rather listen to what they are saying than reacting and having this whole panic attack inside yourself. We all come across people every single day of our lives. The only thing that you can control is how you react to them. So don't give them the benefit of the doubt of how you react to them, but rather just listen and not respond. In some cases you'd have to, but in some cases I think, not, just listen. It's not worth it. Okay.
I think what's important in Laurel's situation is her theme that came across in that comment is the word difficult. And often where there's a difficult situation, you only have to look at what you're capable of or what you are in control of. And it goes back to what I said earlier, when we can no longer change the situation. You can't change the situation in that difficult person. Then you are challenged to just change yourself. So you got to change your position or the angle you're taking it from.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Kim, we can talk for hours. Kim, you know that we've been talking for hours.
I think we've almost used our 15 minutes.
So let's do this real quickly, guys. I put in all your names in here, and Kim has, so something. Okay, so this just popped out.
Okay, good. No, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. So it popped out of the bowl, guys, and I didn't pick it. And I'm not going to. Oh, wow. Rudo is the winner.
Yay, Rudo.
So, yeah, so Rudo is part of, open mic. So Rudo, Kim has given us, so much of blessings today, but she's also given the listeners, a lucky draw for you to connect with her. So well done, Rudo. Thank you so much. Kim,
thank you.
So I also want to say Kim is going to be coming back on the 31st of May with Janine, with Amina, and with Pelakazi. These 4 ladies are going to be joining me for a very inspirational talk. I have these 4 beautiful souls coming on, and these beautiful souls is going to be joining us together on the 31st of May. It's only going to be one talk on that day. It is a profound talk that's going to happen amongst these beautiful souls that I'm getting together. Again, Janine, it's Amina, it's Pelakazi, and it's Kim again that's coming on the 31st of May. So there's going to be comms going out, so please join. Kim, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insights.
Thank you for this beautiful platform to share all the things that I have rambling around in my head.
Okay. Kim, I think you're going to be coming back on again. You're definitely going to be coming back on. Besides the 31st, I think you're going to be coming back on again. I think there's a lot of insightful information and powerful things that you can share. You have a variety of skills that I think a lot of people right now is looking for and is needed right now. I'm hoping that you're going to be able to share this with the world. Open mic is definitely a global platform. We have people from all sorts of the world that's coming right now. I think you'll be able to really tap into some extraordinary people that's coming through, and yeah, let's see where this goes.
Thank you, Sheshni. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much, guys. We're going to be connecting with Ari Bias. She's from Los Angeles in the USA. So please stay on and connect. I'm just going to disconnect and bring Ari on quickly. All right. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you. Thanks a million.
Yes.